You know, asking for something can be tricky in any language, but in Japanese, it's a whole different level. It's not just what you ask, but how you ask, and maybe most importantly, who you're asking. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into the 3 essential ways to make a request so you can handle pretty much any social situation with confidence.
Yeah, this is the big question, right? If you get it wrong, you might come off as rude, or on the other hand, just weirdly formal. But if you nail it, your conversations will feel so much smoother and more natural. So let's break down exactly how to do that. First up, we've got the most polite form. I want you to think of this as your fail-safe, your go-to option when you're just not sure. Because trust me, it's always better to be a little too polite than not polite enough. And that phrase is te itadake masen ka. This is an incredibly polite and respectful way to ask for a favor. You're going to use this when you're talking to someone with a higher status, like your boss or a teacher, or even a total stranger that you want to show respect to. It literally translates to something like, "Could I humbly receive the favor of you doing this?" The way you build it is actually super simple. You just take what's called the te form of any verb, and you stick itadake masen ka right on the end. For instance, the verb to teach, which is oshieru, becomes oshiete, and then you just add our phrase. So here's a perfect example of this in action. You're talking to your teacher, your sensei, and this super formal request is absolutely the right choice. It shows you respect their position. And it's not just for school. Check this out in a work setting. Here, you're speaking to your department manager, or bucho. In a Japanese office, this level of politeness is pretty much expected when you're talking to a superior. So, what about a stranger? Well, it works perfectly there too. You're just asking someone you don't know for a small favor, and using kei itadake masen ka is a really safe and respectful way to go about it. Now, let's see what happens when the social gap isn't quite so wide.